something needs to change because this is the third consecutive year now where let's be honest, we're all a bit bored. We're all a bit bored going to the game. We know we're not going to be competing at the top end of the table this season, and we're sort of going through the motions. I don't think we'll go down. Certainly don't think we're going to go up. We're going to hover around fifth. Well, if we're lucky, I think the way we're playing at the moment, we're going to hover around 14th, 15th. And that's just very boring, isn't it, to watch? And unfortunately, like I say, it's the third consecutive year. And don't get me wrong, we were spoiled, weren't we? We had those 3 years in the National League where we were always fighting for something, and then we went straight up from League Two, and then we were in League One for just over half a season, fighting to sort of stay up, which in itself was exciting, and we were getting to go to bigger grounds. We were playing Sunderland away and those sort of clubs, so we had excitement year on year, and there was always something to look forward to go to the game. If we were at home on a Saturday at 3 o'clock, you'd wake up on the Saturday morning, go and get your breakfast at Oxton Village and be pretty excited about going to the game. I haven't felt that now for a good number of years. I haven't felt that excitement to be going to the games, and I don't think a lot of Tranmere fans have. Like I say, I was working on Saturday, so I missed the Bradford game. I'll be honest, I wasn't that disappointed. Usually if I'm working and I miss a game, when we've been doing well, I'm absolutely gutted. I was pretty happy, to be honest, to not be there when I saw the results. And I'm looking through the home fixtures, sort of planning my time to make sure I can get to the games, but I'm just not looking forward to it. So I think, as you say, something needs to change. I think a lot of fans probably feel the way I do. They bought season tickets, so they sort of feel obliged to go, but it's very, very, it's dull football. It's not a great atmosphere at the moment because of everything that's going on. And as you say, we really need something to change. So hopefully over the next, between now and Christmas, we might get some positive news that, we can start looking forward.
Well, if anything does happen, it does really need to happen before Christmas, doesn't it? Because the only chance Tranmere are going to get to freshen up their squad is going to be in January. And look, we don't know where they're going to be at January. We can have a guess based on how the season is going and how the momentum of recent weeks has fallen off a cliff. We can guess that, as you say, they'll be lower mid-table, not particularly challenging to go up, and probably closer to the relegation zone than the top 7. And the only chance they're going to get to shake that squad up is going to be January because of the way the transfer system works these days. So if something does happen, it needs to happen quickly, because that is going to be the only way to lift the mood around the place, because it does feel eerily, it's not as drastic as the end of the Peter Johnson era when things went off a cliff very quickly. And obviously it led to 2 relegations, although only one of them while he was in charge. But it does feel like that apathy and that discontent is creeping into an extent where fans are getting bored, they're staying away, and they want to see something that excites them, and they're not necessarily getting it at the moment. They're not seeing the entertainment that they feel they should be getting for the money they're paying.
No, and I sort of felt there was a bit of inevitability about Saturday's result. Like, usually if we lose a game at home like that, 2-0, and Andy Cook scores both, which again felt very inevitable, you'd feel like there'd be some sort of uproar, and I didn't see it. It might have just been because I was a little bit out of the bubble. Like I say, I wasn't at the game, but I didn't feel any uproar. I just, like you say, I felt that apathy. I felt fans were just sort of like, well, that's what we're doing at the moment. We're losing games. We're not scoring goals. That we people are going there with a very negative mindset. We're going on to talk about Bromley on Saturday. Don't think anybody, even though it's Bromley and they're in poor form, I don't think anybody's expecting us to go there and win that game, or certainly none of our fans. So yeah, like you said, there's a lot of apathy creeping in. Like you say, it's nowhere. That the end of those Peter Johnson years really were, for me, certainly some of the worst years that I've had supporting Tranmere. And like you say, we're nowhere near that low. But, and you talk about January. I mean, last year, we didn't really bring anyone in January, or certainly not any sort of statement signings. And that I sort of read that as we knew we weren't going to go up last year. So we sort of kept our budget. We kept our, we cut our cloth accordingly. And we said, we'll go in the summer. We'll bring in some good players in the summer and we'll really strengthen, rather than doing it in January. That obviously hasn't happened because our recruitment was, poor this summer again. And I feel like that's what we're going to be doing again. We're probably going to look at it in January and think, well, this team isn't capable of getting promoted. So what's the point in going and spending money on players for the second half of the season, to finish 10th instead of 16th? It's sort of, do you know what I mean? So I feel like we're going to be in the same spot we were in 12 months ago. You used the term Groundhog Day before. That's where we are. We're in Groundhog Day, and until these changes happen at the top, we're going to be in it. Well, we hope we're going to be in this Groundhog Day. We hope we don't drop out the league. We don't want to count our chickens here, but we are sort of devilishly close to that relegation zone. So, you know, we don't want to rule it out completely, but yeah, it just feels like we're in Groundhog Day. So hopefully something will change soon.